Hello, you beautiful nerds. There is a new flick starring those robots in disguise, and I actually saw it. I wasn't planning on it. I've been out on these movies for a while, pretty much as soon as Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch became the main characters. I did see Bumblebee a couple years after it came out, because everyone was talking about how great it was. And yeah, that movie is great by Transformers standards. But those movies are, by and large, absolute garbage. The first one is still pretty good, despite a few questionable scenes. Like, I legit forgot that Bumblebee straight up pees on John Turturro's head. That made me uncomfortable on this watch. I was so ready not to watch this movie, especially when I saw the trailer. Hey, movie studios, if you want to make me hate your movie before I even see it, put a really dramatic cinematic version of a hip-hop song that has nothing to do with the movie in the trailer. Yeah, go ahead and do that if you want me to hate you. But then I saw it was directed by a black dude, and I was like, okay, I'll give it a try.
And I'm black, y'all. I'm blickety black, blacker than black, black.
And you know what? I am glad I did. Not saying it was amazing or terrible, just that I have a lot of thoughts. But let's get into the nitty gritty and let's talk about what we're talking about. So grab the wheel and grab a fancy looking MacGuffin, because it's time to talk about
Transformers: Rise of the Beast.
This story is well, it's definitely a Transformers movie, if you know what I mean. A young human bonds with an Autobot, who then introduces them to a bunch of other Autobots, and for some reason they need the humans to fight some big bad robot threat.
You brought a human here?
I'm nobody. I ain't even seen nothing. I'm not even seeing anything right now.
Let's talk about those titular car robots. This movie takes place a few years after Bumblebee and the Autobots are chilling on Earth. The design of the Autobots were pretty rad. RC probably looks the coolest. There was one thing that really irritated me. The character of Mirage was way too, he was too much. He was supposed to be the comic relief, and I get that everyone loves Pete Davidson. Actually, I don't get that. Why you people like him so much? He's a bad actor. He has an interesting enough voice, but he's not a good voice actor. They could have probably saved this character if they had just cast a different voice actor, like an actual voice actor, and also toned down on the overt 90s references. Like, this nigga says, whoop, there it is. It's like, relax, my guy. Let's talk about the Maximals, because it's the Rise of the Beasts, right? Right? Well, it turns out it's not so much a rise as it is a mild sit-up. The Maximals are a new addition to the live-action franchise, but I used to love Beast Wars as a kid. I wasn't a huge fan of the way they were depicted in this, though. I always thought that the Maximals were way smaller than the Autobots, like 9-10 feet tall when fully transformed, and that they actually looked like animals when they're in their, not transformed state. They are robots in disguise, after all. Or, they're supposed to be. And since we got a small Iron Man type Transformer suit from Mars, it would have been cool to see him fight alongside them, and would have added to the threat a little bit, because not all of the robots are at least 2 stories tall. They clearly just shoehorned these characters in just to get people interested, hoping that those sweet member berries will get big old kids like me back into the theater. It was the Michael Keaton to their Flash movie, and like Michael Keaton in the Flash movie, it didn't really work, at least not to get people into theaters. They also didn't interact with humans in Beast Wars, which allowed for more character building. I don't know why they're so afraid of making a live-action Transformers movie where the Transformers are the main characters, but I think they're missing out on a great opportunity. I do really like Optimus Prime in this one, though. In this movie, Optimus hasn't warmed up to humans just yet. He still thinks we're untrustworthy and selfish, which, yeah, that's pretty, you're not wrong. But it did add an interesting thread to the plot. Usually the humans and Transformers are buds, but there's an air of animosity between the two, especially Optimus and Mars Blackman. Typically the human characters in movies like this or Godzilla are the least interesting part, but I actually like these main characters. We got Mars Blackman as the main character. I know his real name is Anthony Ramos and his character's name is Noah or some such shit, but he will forever and always be Mars Blackman to me.
Yeah.
Mars is fleshed out pretty well. Everything in Mars's world revolves around his little brother. All he's fighting for is a better life for the cutest kid in the world. By the way, this kid is a legit good actor. He was almost my MVP, but I decided to give my boy Mars the prestigious MVP award because he grounds the whole movie emotionally. Dominique Fishback is also pretty great. I've been a fan of hers for a few years now. She's always delivered thoughtful and believable performances, and this film was no different. Her and Mars had good chemistry, and you get why they would connect when all this insanity insanity is happening all around them. And because of her archaeological intelligence, she is very helpful to the group for most of the movie. Until the third act, when the movie really doubled down on some dumb shit. So at the end of the movie, it's revealed that there is some ancient computer that the bad guys are gonna use to bring a big bad guy to Earth and destroy everything. But Dominique Fishback's character is an archaeologist, so she knows how to turn it off. At some point, the heroes are like, well, can't we just blow it up? This is a Transformers movie, right? And then someone is like, nah, cause that'll cause a big explosion. Again, isn't this a Transformers movie? What is this franchise if not big explosions? But I was like, whatever. They want to solve a problem without blowing it up. I respect that. But then later, when they get to the computer, that is for some reason the size of a human computer, that we're just not going to touch that, the controls get destroyed. So guess what? They got to blow this thing up. Man, I wish someone had thought of that idea earlier. And it's not even like a huge explosion. Like the way they were talking, you would think that it was gonna destroy the whole Western Hemisphere or some such shit. But no, it's your standard third act smoke and firefight, followed by a bunch of splody explosives over just one of the most irritating songs I've ever heard. It's clearly a song that was written for this movie. For the most part, the needle drops in this movie were actually pretty impressive. Like I was surprised by how much I was vibing to the songs in this movie. But yeah, the last song choice, this must have been a contractual obligation because, yeah, it was a bad song. I guess I should say something about that very last scene. It looks like them G.I. Joes and the Transformers are going to be joined in holy matrimony as Mars Blackman gets recruited by those real American heroes at the end. And you can call me a big old baby who loves toys if you want to, but I actually love this. This is a great way to make G.I. Joe relevant again. Because let's face it, no one was going to go see another standalone G.I. Joe movie. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, still shame on you. I'm not gonna watch movies no more. I don't really think anyone fell for the okie doke and actually watched that Snake Eyes movie. Y'all even remember that? Y'all remember that movie came out? And I may be reading too much into this part, but I love the fact that Mars is gonna be the face of the G.I. Joes. America likes to act like Puerto Rico isn't America, even though it obviously is. So having Mars be like the main real American hero is actually very cool. I like that. So the real question is, where does this rank among the other Transformers movies? Again, most of these movies are straight dog shit. Last Night, Age of Extinction, Revenge of the Fallen, they're all equally terrible. Some are probably a little bit more racist than others. I remember Dark of the Moon being okay, but it's probably terrible too. If I were to make a top 3 of actually rewatchable Transformers movies, I guess I would go Rise of the Beasts number 3, 2007 Transformers number 2, and Bumblebee number 1. I enjoyed this movie a lot more than I thought I would, but the third act is a big old mess, and the Maximals were totally wasted. Rise of the Beasts isn't the best Transformers movie ever, but these characters have some potential. We're supposed to be getting some sequels, and for the first time in a long time, I am genuinely looking forward to them. These movies have been low-tier, high-octane garbage for a hot minute now. And I know a lot of you might be hesitant to jump back into this franchise, but I am happy to say that for the first time in a long time, this Transformers movie is more than meets the eye. My ranking, I liked it. Okay, that's it for this review. Thank you so much for watching and subscribing. If you're not subscribed, that's cool. I like you. I just don't love you. You guys are seriously a huge help to the channel. Don't forget to check out the Drunk Band This podcast, where we're going to be talking about Warrior and Righteous Gemstones. And our new show, Does It Hold Up, drops every other Monday at 4:20 a.m. So until next time, stay safe, my little Maxima Guffins, and may the Force be with you.